Hey Pam, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I cannot complain whatsoever. You said you've been busy, 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 huh?
Yes.
That's good. Busy's good. Makes the time go by.
Oh, definitely. How are you doing?
Good. I can't complain. I feel great. Got the class later on today, class tomorrow. So just cramming some things, about to head out of here. But yeah, I wanted to connect with you. I know that I got the recording from Ra. He met with you in reference to your closing that day. I'm
Mhm.
so upset we missed each other. It was just, the timing. You were supposed to close on Friday. Sorry about that. Definitely wanted to meet you in person, but that just means you got to get another closing and fast.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I know you are. You got a couple of them in the works. Did you get that deal under contract that we talked about?
Well, both the two that I thought I could get under contract, one of them decided that they could sell it themselves and make more money on it. So I told him I'd call him back and check back with him in about 30 days and see how it was going. And then the other one that I talked to Coach Stephanie about the other day, he had an open house on Sunday and we've not been able to reach him since then. I've been leaving text messages and voicemails and the like, follow up with him to see how his open house went and how if he got any offers and the like, go from there.
But does he have it listed on Zillow or something currently?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to keep working them. So one of the things that I notice in the business is, the seasons, the change of the seasons. So we're in April, which is spring break, right? At the
Yeah.
end of March through April, it's like the world shuts down. No matter what. No, seriously, like no matter what. And that was in the car business too. So, and you're in sales, so it even tapers off for tax time, right? We saw this big influx and April kind of calms down. People are in vacation mode, even if they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that it's so cold this year in Georgia, because normally we would be in the pool or at a water park or something like that, even if you don't go out of town, right? And
Yeah.
then come May, it goes back crazy. Meaning,
Okay.
yeah, we'll see sellers that are like, okay, this is on my to-do list. Let me get back serious and get it taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if they kind of disappear or go MIA, most people, the way you and I can handle to-do lists and handle a number of things at one time, most people can't. They're tunnel vision, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've noticed that. So April will taper off. You plant your seeds. May gets back booming all the way to the end of October. And then people are focusing on the holidays. You'll get higher grossing deals during the holidays, just because you don't have a lot of competition, but the volume isn't there.
Okay.
So let's talk about this deal. We talked about it a little bit, but I really wanted to emphasize, because I'm so proud of you, Pam, because the average student, even the average novice investor, would have quit on this deal a couple different times. Let me say that. So I'm so proud of you, and I want to highlight, without divulging, the privacy of the seller, of course. But let's just kind of talk about the different hurdles that you had, which made you a stronger investor and will make the deals that you get in the future higher grossing and easier for you.
Well, to start out, the seller was at the beginning was a very angry person.
Mm.
But the more I talked to him, the more I realized that his anger wasn't towards me, it was towards
Yeah.
his circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had a lot, after I met him, when I went down to show the property for him, because he was a truck driver and he was out of town an awful lot. So I had to go down and help show the property quite a few times. I found out that his mother had just passed away 6 months before, and then his daughter passed away,
Oh no.
COVID. And so he had a lot of things on his plate.
So
So,
let's say that right there. Let's kind of elaborate on that a little bit. Let's elaborate about that, because you said a good point, right?
Mhm.
First of all, I don't know who can stay mad at Pam. You're the sweetest person. I even told the class, because I think that day you were traveling back, I said, I couldn't tell if you were frustrated. I couldn't tell if you were upset. Your tonality stayed the same throughout the deal. Whenever you had a question, like, I think I would get pissed about it and my emotions would go high. And I'm like, what's going on? Such and such and such. No, we're getting them on the phone now. And you would be like, okay, no problem. I'll call us. Like, your tonality was the same. So no one can ever get mad at you, right? And
Oh,
with that
yeah,
being,
they can.
you said they can and they do. They want somebody to blame, you say.
Well,
But
it's the atmosphere that I work in, I think.
yeah, 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 that has trained you. Yeah, I
Mhm.
got you.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, one of the things, it seems like you didn't take it personal. The only thing that you did take personal was getting a solution for this gentleman. You really took it on your back. You said, hey, listen, I don't care about my commission. I care, which you still make money, but you said, I care about getting this deal done for the seller because he's been through so much. But how
Mhm.
did you not take it personal, Pam? How did you not take it personal? Because remember, these sellers are in distress, hence the reason that you're getting the property at a discount, right?
Right.
So knowing that, how did you not take it personal to connect with the seller and control him? Because if you didn't have control throughout this deal of your seller, you would have never closed this deal.
I think a lot of it, like I said, has to do with the atmosphere that I work in on my day job, because I've worked with my bosses now for 26 years. And from the time that they were a $3 million company to now where they're over 50,000, a $50 million company.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know, I've worked with all different temperamental types of people.
Gotcha.
I think that's what has helped me to realize that I shouldn't take things personally. They're
Yep.
venting, and maybe
Yep.
I happen to be the person that they're venting to at that time.
Yeah.
So I've learned, well, I'm quote, still learning. I
Aren't we
internalize a lot
all?
of I internalize a lot of my stress,
Mm.
and I trying to learn to let it go. But I do realize that people are not upset with me. They're
Yeah.
upset with their environment and things
Yeah.
around them that they really don't feel that they have any control over. And
Yeah.
that I can control some of the outcome for them. That's what helps me try and do my best for everybody that I ever work with.
No, you're amazing, Pam. You're just, I love your spirit. And it's funny because you can still take me. Like, you can take me being this big personality, me being this big opinionated, loud at times, vulgar at times. You can still take the information and
Mhm.
funnel it and compartmentalize it and execute, right? That's
Right.
that's another thing that you did well. So that's good to know, that you have the approach of not taking things personal. Let me ask you a question, because one of the things that you said in the interview at the closing table is, you said you're doing this for generational wealth for your kids. I love the fact that your daughter is an agent. I wanted to meet her too. So like I said, Pam, you got to close another one so we can get up and celebrate the correct way. But I say that to say, is that something that you can teach, right? I talk about doing your real estate business is a well-oiled machine. So I don't really have, that was, if I had to pick any part of real estate that I hated, it was that part, being a punching bag, right? But
Mhm.
you can hire people. So how do you think, when you start hiring your team and building your team, how are you going to teach not taking it personal to your employees?
Well, I do it now with I'm not training people anymore at the company simply because I work remotely, but you know, I've always trained all of my personnel, my accounting people and everything. And, you know, they get upset when, say, the boss comes by and yells at them and the like. And I just tell them, I say, hey, you cannot take this personally. He's busy. He's got so many things on his mind.
Yeah,
Probably didn't even realize he was talking to you in that type of a fashion or in that
right.
tone and the like. But I tell them, I said, just go do your job and go out. I tell them, go out and walk around the parking lot for 10 minutes, relax,
Yeah.
come back with your mind frame as,
Mhm.
hey, I had a great day so far today. It wasn't directed at me. It was
Yep.
directed at somebody else. I just happened to be the person that they encountered first.
Mhm.
With the
Mhm.
person that it was originally directed at. Like I say, I've done this for 26 years. My
Mhm.
bosses have a lot of the same personality traits that you have.
I don't know
That's,
if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but at least you know how to
I
deal
think,
with me.
I think it's a good thing because I am an introvert.
Got you.
Bosses are all extroverts.
Mhm.
I mean, they're fly by the seat of their pants and making business decisions. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'll walk in one day and I'll go, okay, what have you guys done now that you
Made
haven't
a whole
told
bunch
me
of
about
changes.
yet?
Yeah, made a whole bunch of changes.
Oh yeah, constantly. So
Yeah.
I have to show, and I try and show my people that we cannot be so straight-laced
Yeah.
that we can't flow with the go with the flow.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
with the people like that, like my bosses, you have to go with the flow because
Yep.
they make snap decisions. They'll
Yep.
be in the field and they'll make a decision. They'll get busy. They forget to tell me about it until
Mhm.
paperwork comes across my desk. And then I go to them and I say, okay, what is this for?
Yeah.
Things like
Yeah.
that. I said, and that's the way you have to be in this fast-paced environment that we work in.
That's the adaptation you're talking about. You have to
Yes,
adapt.
you
Yeah,
have to learn to adapt and
definitely.
not take things personally. And it's never, I mean, yes, somebody will maybe say a few things. I mean, I've been cussed out a few times, but I don't ever take it personally because I know it's not me that they're directing that at. It's because of something else that has happened. And I just happened to be there at the time when they exploded.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great point. So not taking things personally, not having an ego, right? And
Yeah.
and sometimes I have to catch myself in certain business deals too. And I have to say, hey, is this my ego talking where I'm saying I'm not going to deal with this, or should I let someone else step in? So a lot of times it's good to have a partner too. And I think it's about knowing yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if you know yourself, hey, I'm not great at this part of the business. Let's
Mhm.
get someone else involved. And if you don't want a partner, then it definitely needs to be an employee. But I can tell those character traits that you had, Pam, are what pushed you through this deal. So speaking of the deal, we were talking generally. Let's talk a
Mhm.
little bit more specific. Do you think that the A to B side was more difficult, or do you think the B to C side was more
Oh,
difficult?
the B2C side, definitely.
In this situation, definitely. Normally, well, the B to C has so many moving parts, right? So that's why,
Well, and the person that I was dealing with was very, I mean, she really taxed my patience, let's put it that way.
oh yeah, yeah, yours and mine both, because I was screaming and cursing a couple times for you on your behalf. But normally, so there are more moving parts, but normally it kind of flows. We had to really
Mhm.
push it along. So what do you think you could have done differently, as far as, because you get to choose who you want to purchase the home, right? What do you
Right.
think you would have done differently as far as vetting this buyer to
Well,
make it
I
easier?
definitely would have, I mean, I would have made it very clear that this was conventional only
Yeah,
or cash.
yeah,
They did provide me with a proof of funds at the very beginning. But then when it came time to start processing all of the paperwork for the conventional, it came back, oh, well, she doesn't qualify.
yep.
It
That was
was,
nasty. That
yeah.
was nasty. That was
And
when I first started blowing my top off.
yeah. And at that point, I think I should have said, conventional only. If you can't do conventional, then we can't do the deal.
Exactly. Walk away. Yeah.
Walk
So that's
away.
a good point. We get so caught up in staying in the deal, we don't know when it's a good sign or what. And that's one of the things that I've learned in this business. And that's why I say the process is important. Now, we were
Right.
still able to get it done because we were creative,
Right.
right? And, we had the knowledge, we had the people there.
Mhm.
But if someone doesn't adhere to my process, like the process is in place specifically because it makes your life easier.
Right.
So if the process isn't fine, I don't break my rules for anybody because I put those rules in place to protect my sanity.
Mhm.
So, and I remember that because every single time, it never fails, Pam, in anything, in my personal life, in my business, with my children, if I break a rule that I set, it never goes well. It never, ever goes well. And I'm like, see, that's why I knew I should, you have those talks with yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're mopping up milk, right?
Mhm.
But one of the things, and this is for, whoever's going to watch this also, you don't just check the pre-approval and call and verify. You ask if you want proof that it has been under direct underwriting, also known as DU. So when DU has been approved, meaning that the system says this person is conventionally approved, I've never had a situation where a person was direct underwriting approved, and then we had an issue, right?
Okay.
95% of the time that's going to close. So you need to ask the loan officer those specific questions. I see it because anybody can pull a credit and say, oh, you have a 680 credit score, I'll give you a pre-approval letter.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a direct underwriting. We've ran it through. The system has said it meets, Freddie Mae or Fannie Mac or guidelines or what have you.
Right.
So direct underwriting would have been the difference for that. Now, another thing, we did not have this deal with our attorney at first. And I harp about that. Tell me
Yes, I
what.
know.
Okay, yes, and now why it's so important, because we ended up switching it to my attorney and they got it done. Shout out Perry and Associates. But what made you in the beginning, kind of feel like, okay, not a big deal, we'll use your attorney?
Because this realtor assured me that the person that she had chosen was investor friendly also.
Mm.
She is like I was telling my daughter, I said, this is a lady that is used to running everything. She works
Mm.
for people.
Running it into the ground.
Oh, yeah. And she doesn't give you a chance to talk where you're having a conversation. She talks over you. She was doing it up until the day that we closed. She was
Wow.
over us. And I told my daughter, I said, I have never met a realtor that has treated people like that.
She sounds like a bully.
Yeah. And she tried bullying my seller when she would come over to the house. And I told him, I said, let me deal with her. You go about, as far as I'm concerned, whenever I know that she's coming over, you're out on the road. He was a truck driver. I said, you're out on the road. You're not available. She can only go to the house when he's not there. She would pop in all the time.
Yeah, we have a saying amongst me and my people, Pam, and we say, know yourself. I would tell her, know your place. This is my client, right? Sometimes even the case study deal I was telling you guys about that I'm going to, highlight within that situation, she was a nice agent, don't get me wrong, but they get really talkative because they don't view us as agents. So they borderline cross the line, and I have to remind them of their ethics. Hey, listen, I have a contract, so that's my client, right? You don't talk to my client. You refer the information to me. I don't know if you watched it. There's like this meme going around about the movie American Gangster, and he's like, you don't talk to me directly. Now, from now on, you talk to Huey. Huey, you talk to me. And it's like a filter. But, honestly, you have to be that filter, and you have to remind the agent of that, because I think they don't respect us as investors, or don't really realize, oh yeah, there is a contract in place, even if it's not the normal real
Mhm.
estate contract. So
Yeah.
yeah, so one of the things when I see them get like that too on the phone call, because she was probably like that on the phone call when she sent the
Yeah.
offer, I let them know, I said, hey, listen, so we're gonna, I have multiple, this is a multiple offer situation. And if you want this deal and you want your client to get it, we're gonna have to do things my way. And I've said that before. I've said that before. So we have to close with my attorney. These are the things that I cannot negotiate on. And then I go back to the board situation too, Pam. I'll say, hey, my board will not let me waver on this. They're in place to keep me in check. That's why I have them. I don't want to be like Jeff Bezos and get kicked out of the CEO position. So I would like to keep my position. So, I say that's my personality, to say something funny,
Mhm.
but I kind of let them know, hey, look, we're doing it this way. So and let me say that the realtor could have had total confidence, but let it be known that even though wholesaling is a big thing, the way that I created my process and the way that we do the process is so unorthodox to so many people in the business. I literally have people who have been in the business for 30 years. There are attorneys that don't know what pass-through funding is or how to construct a deal like this as well. So yeah, so you feel like if you would have had maybe a different realtor, different attorney off the gate, the B2C deal would have
Yeah.
been a little bit easier.
I think so. I definitely think so, because a lot of it had to do with, having to meet the hurdles for the FHA loan and inspection. And, it would have been a lot easier. I wouldn't have had to probably made as many trips down to Georgia as
Mhm.
I did, which I
Mhm.
didn't mind. My daughter always went with me because they don't like me traveling by myself on the road.
Yeah.
I think it would have gone a lot easier, a lot smoother.
So B2C side does go pretty smooth, especially since the realtor, the agent really is supposed to do all the work. And that's normally what happens. They're doing the home inspection. They're there for, or setting up the appraisal. And that was, I think, it wasn't just this realtor, it was the lender too.
Yeah.
This lender, so guys, beware, whoever's watching this, make sure you kind of vet the mortgage company that is the pre-approval also. So it's a difference between just a fly-by-night brokerage company and an established bank, and you have the ability to choose. So even if this realtor was the same person, if you all had a better loan officer for the buyer, you all would have been, in better hands too, because I think
Oh, I think, yeah.
the last week is when they ordered the appraisal, right, Pam? Or something like that.
Four days before we closed,
That is insane. Never have I ever.
especially since it was supposed to originally have closed in March. And here we are, early April. He didn't even order it until March the 27th?
We get lump sums of money from this, but they make us earn it. I tell you, sometimes some deals, and then others are pretty cool. So what have you learned from this deal, as far as some of the things that you're going to do differently? So you get your A to B deal this time. Actually, let me before we figure out what you would do different, let me ask this question. How were you able to price it? How did we at the Billionaire Creator Academy help you price the home to where it flies off the handle? Because you didn't have that issue. A lot of my students do, because they let the seller sell them on price points. So how were you able to price it to where you got a full asking price offer quickly?
Because I took my deal to Coach Shalimar when she was still here. And she helped me figure out what my highest offer could be and what I could sell it for. And actually, I was fortunate in that a lot of the properties, recent sales had been in the 425 to 450 range.
Mhm.
Um,
And you priced yours at like what, 380?
We priced it at 390, so, and got a full price offer. And we calculated that the highest I could go on it was 355 to the seller.
Exactly. So you got it in the
That's-
contract at
Yeah,
355.
and that's what he was looking for, because unfortunately he had 2 mortgages and the like that he needed to get paid off. So
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
where we stood at that number.
So see, the thing is too, Pam, you have such a nice personality, you're soft-spoken, but you were aggressive enough to stick at that price. You wouldn't
Mhm.
believe what type of anxiety my other students get when they say, well, coach, how can I justify a property that's selling for or in the areas that are selling for 420 to 450? And how do I justify with a straight face offering 355? How did you overcome those objections without seeing the property, Pam, and without knowing the seller?
Well, actually, I know I did not see the property, but I had like 20 some photos of the property. And I was able to justify it with the fact that the pool needed some work. The fencing all needed to be replaced on the
Yep.
backyard. We needed to update because it had, I mean, we had some of the brightest walls in some of the bedrooms.
The colors.
The color scheme was not all the best.
Oh,
But it was still, it had good bones and everything, and taken very good care of. The floors were, nothing had to be done with the floors. The carpet was, you know, you could move in, but if you wanted to upgrade the carpets, you could have. So I was able to point out all these different things. And I pointed out to him, hey, you've had it, you tried it at these numbers, 450, and you didn't get any.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said, and right now, because Coach Shalmar showed me how to go onto Zillow and pull up the community and look to see what my competition was, houses that are for sale, and there was not anything in the 400s at that time. Justified to him that this is where we need to be.
That was an unrealistic price point. And he knew
Yes.
it because it was already on the MLS. And that's the power of getting a property where they've already tried and failed. So
Yes.
Pam, what you just basically went in depth is what we teach in the academy is devaluing the property.
Mhm.
You use what you had, which is real data, which is the truth, to devalue the property. But here's the thing. He was a distressed seller. You just
Yes.
talked about earlier, his daughter died, his wife had died. No, daughter died, mom had died, right? So all of those situations, then he's a truck driver. He's emotionally withdrawn from the house anyway. He wants it gone.
Yeah.
And when you put all those other factors in, it
Mhm.
only makes sense to let go of the property.
Well, yeah, because we're talking about a 5-bedroom, 4-bath house with just him living in it. I
Yeah.
told him, I said, you don't need to be rattling around in this great big huge house.
I
And
love it. I love it. I love it.
if anybody had looked at the pictures that I posted on my listing, the living room was nothing but a gym. He had all of his gym equipment in it.
Such a man. Oh my goodness. Shout out to the gym rats out there. I love it. He's like, there's nobody to tell me no.
That's it exactly.
And then wasn't he getting a divorce or divorced or something too?
They'd already finalized the divorce.
Yep. So he had a whole bunch of different, distress situations. So
Yeah.
it was perfect, scenario. Talk
Mhm.
to me about, so we'll, last question I'll ask you is what you would have done differently, but talk to me about how do you feel like you think you could have made more? So it's funny because when I tell my students, I'll say, the newer students, I'll say, yeah, I got students that get pissed when they make 10, 15, $20,000. Why? Because they see how they could have made more. So tell me in this situation, how you feel like you could have made more on the deal, looking back.
Well, looking back, because of the dollar amount that the house actually appraised for, I could have had my price a little bit higher, say at like 410, and still made another $10,000 on it, because that still left quite a bit of equity, built-in equity for the seller.
Gotcha. Another thing, because I remember this deal vividly, there was something going on with the HVAC. Okay. Going on with the HVAC, and you gave them a hefty credit.
We gave
So
a credit of $3,500.
that's not too bad then. I thought it was closer to like 8. Maybe they wanted it to be $8,000.
They
And
wanted it to be,
yeah,
they
we
wanted me to replace all of the HVAC, but there was only one unit out of the 2 that needed to be replaced.
and
So
then my guy came and gave you a quote, right? And that's
Yes, uh-huh.
okay. So yeah, okay. So that's not bad then. So yeah, so
Mm.
you were able to definitely get, I've done that before. I've done like 3,500 to 5,000 in seller concessions to get the
Mhm.
deal done. So that's not bad. Okay. So you feel like maybe you could have waited for an additional offer or started the price a little bit higher to test the waters.
Because when we went down and we did an open house and we had several people who were interested, but they weren't, they would, this was in January, and they said, well, they wouldn't be ready to actually make offers until March. Had I waited till March to start accepting, could have had, there was 4 people who were really interested in it, but they weren't in a position to do anything until March.
Okay, so yeah, so each deal you get to make money and you get to
Mhm.
learn about what you're gonna do, different in the future. Talk to me about what you'll do differently. So what will you do differently in the future to make, the A to B and the B to C portion smoother, easier, and have the least amount of hurdles as possible?
The A to B, actually, I felt that went smoothly. I was
Yep.
able to devalue the property for him and justify. So I felt that went the smoothest. I don't know that I would do too much different in that. The B to C is the one that I would really do a little bit more due diligence on my part, qualifying the buyers, because I felt that that's where my biggest drawdown was as far as what I did. I made more mistakes there. Not mistakes, but I could have done better on the A to B. The affidavit that I filed was the one that saved this whole deal.
Hold on now. Following the instructions now. You was following the instructions because I was like,
Yes, I was. In fact, I did not even put it on List with Freedom until I knew that had been.
memorandum says lies. That's what I said in the recorded class. And
Yes, ma'am.
and here is the prime example, because it was I was like, I gotta help Pam get this deal done. I said, Pam, give me a second. I know it's something. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm like, did you file the memorandum? He said, yes. I'm like, okay, I think I got something. Let me sleep on it. I got you tomorrow. And that was a Friday too. So
Yes.
yeah, and I normally don't work on Fridays, but my mom, I said, no, Pam, because you were at every class, Pam.
Yeah.
You're at every Airbnb class, you're at every Tuesday class, you're at every elite class. And guys, that's what made the difference. I'm like, no, I'm fighting. I'm taught to fight for my people, fight what I believe in, what I believe in. I'm like, no, we're gonna get this deal done. So I'm glad we're able to laugh about it now.
Yeah. I mean, I had some very stressful days there.
I was like, I said, Pam, did the wire hit? You said they gave me a check. I said, I know that's right. Pam said, I don't want to wait for anything else. I'm leaving with this check right now.
We even took a picture of it before we walked out of the office.
Pam, you're surprised. I need the picture. You can cut it off. I need the picture to check. I need to be able to use that.
Okay.
So
I
yeah,
will.
thank you. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to meet you in person and your daughter. Another thing, I want you to keep trying. Don't lose momentum. I want you to get the next deal and let's make this, a well-oiled machine. You don't even have a VA, do you?
Yeah, I do have a VA.
Okay.
We average 3 leads a day, almost like clockwork. It's 3 every day.
Good.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we'll go over in class on Wednesday, I'm going to dig deep today and tomorrow into this case study. That way you guys can kind of know what made my situation go smooth, where there were bumps in the road as well. But more importantly, on Wednesday in the elite class, we'll go over scheduling. So I know you had some questions on that, but literally I write down everything that needs to be done in a month, all my goals. And it's so crazy because when I break it down from month to the week, I'll pick out from the month what I'm going to do within the week. I don't overload myself because there are new things that pop up as well. And then that day, I'll break down what I'm going to do in a day. So I'm going to go through and show you guys how to specifically do that, which helps you catapult yourself. Like there's a regular schedule we have to adhere to, and that's how your schedule is set up. Mojo calls, things of that nature, your regular work schedule, being on the BCA classes, which keeps you in tune. But there are also, steps that we want to take. We want to say, okay, well, I'm doing 3 to 5 calls. What, maybe I need to add something in addition to Mojo, right? So I can have additional leads, just things of that nature of how you want to take your business to the next level.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about this week as to what I want to do next, because Mojo doesn't get, I mean, you get the expired listings, but I don't get a lot of, excuse me, distressed people.
Yeah.
And that's what I need to, what I feel will help elevate my business is getting more distressed leads in order to get more offers and contracts.
What I would do is I would incorporate Zillow. Like, don't discount Zillow, where we, data over everything, seeing the price drops, because that's the for sale by owner. I would look at the price drops in certain areas, because you could do, Atlanta, you can do Tennessee, where you're at, you can do a couple different markets and have your VA. You can even get email blasts when there are new properties that fit a certain criteria.
Oh,
And
really?
I'm sorry?
I didn't know that.
Yep. You could set up like a search. I'll show you now. It's like a saved search. And that's what I have my VAs do as well.
Okay.
So once you have the search, you can save it, and Zillow will alert you every time it comes. So like, you would have to do a sign in here, do the buy that we talked about. Let's just say, see, this is Homer, Georgia. Let's just say we were in Dallas, Texas. Okay. See right here, save search. So you would customize the search. It's for sale, apply. Now they switched it to where it's over here. We'll do buy, owner, and other. We don't want auctions, foreclosures. We don't want new construction, no agent listed, only owner posted. We're gonna apply. I like to zoom out, remember? Remove the boundary, draw the boundary. Let's say that I'm on my laptop with like the little hand keypad, so it's not as accurate. So like, sorry. But okay, so now we have 198 results, right? They're giving you the newest. And then we go through and we look for, see, price cut right there, boom. That you heart it. You have your VA heart it, and they add it to the list. And this list though, I would call, because this is like an already distressed seller. You see what I'm saying? They just see, okay, we know that they're priced too high. They were priced even higher. Zestimate is 250, you know what I'm saying? This is where they're at. Whatever, nice in the back, doesn't look bad whatsoever. This is Dallas, and then the numbers right here. So I would treat this as an already warmed up lead, but that will add the amount of leads depending on how many areas you're doing. You add Fort Worth, not Fort Worth, you add like the Dallas area, you add Houston, Atlanta, Tennessee, then that will give you a couple more leads each day. It's only been on Zillow for 4 days, so not sure what prompted the quick price cut, but that's a question you would ask them, right? But you keep scrolling, so those are 5 or 6 days on Zillow. 9 days. So really, my VAs call anything that are 18 days plus. Price cut right here, 15,000. Right here, higher price property, but we can flip those too. Price cut 25,000. Higher price property, but we could flip those as well. So you just kind of scroll through and you find the honeypots, but the price cuts are what's telling you. And see 100,000 price cut. I would jump all over this. April the 5th. 20 days on Zillow. So, the most traction that they're going to get is in the first 2 weeks. So when it's past the 2 week, price cut $1,000. Why would somebody do this? Because they want it to be up at the top, so they're trying to do something to push a sale. But again, you can have her heart the ones that are 18 days plus, price cut 95,000. This is a trailer though, so I wouldn't mess with that. Price cut 34,000. See, this is perfect. In Dallas, Texas. Yep. See this price point. You see how, so what looks great. So I would add for my VA to maybe take an hour or maybe 30 minutes each day, you know, and we're only paying them a couple dollars per hour, and then just have them heart properties like this. It's been on Zillow for 33 days, price cut at 34,000. This is perfect. They're ready to do business. Zestimate is, I don't know why it says 170. I would look a little bit better at PropStream, but you get the picture. So I would incorporate, I would incorporate that, and you'll get some more leads.
Very good.
I appreciate you taking out time, Pam.
Well, thank
And,
you.
no, for sure, for sure. I'm always about making sure that you guys take it to the next level. So I'll see you in class tonight.
All right.
Good day, good night. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that. Smash that like button if you haven't already. And don't forget to subscribe for all the real estate sauce so you can keep yourself up to date. Now let's make some money.